education. Shouldn't we pledge our allegiance to America's students?
Basketball menu in St. Louis. Kansas and St. Louis tonight. They had Missouri and Illinois on this court 24 hours ago. The Jayhawks putting things back together now at 8-2, and St. Louis has got to come up big with their tough defense tonight. Bob Carpenter, Bill Raftery, a little bit of a Civil War feel to this one. The young Billiken, Troy Robertson, the veteran older brother Ryan for the Jayhawks.
And Ryan will be asked to lead with his experience. He's done a great job for Roy Williams all during the course of the year, but it's very important because St. Louis plays great defense and they do communicate handling these back screens.
Well, the Jayhawks have had a couple of big games from Eric Chenoweth in the last week. We check out the Excite.com lineup for Kansas, and Chenoweth, a couple of 7-block games last week. Boshi, of course, the new point guard, and Bradford and Gregory so athletic for Roy Williams. The Billikens of St. Louis, they're 5-5. They've already won a conference game. Virgil Cobbin is Charlie Spoonhour's three-point guy. Luchtefeld and Heinrich have to come up big down low. Dave Ferguson out of the JUCO ranks, and Jamal Walker is their senior point guard. Troy Robertson, he is the youngster, the junior. He took a charge in practice yesterday and busted his nose open, bled all over the Pine Street gym floor, but he'll be a substitute in this ball game tonight. And his older brother Ryan, one of the Jayhawk leaders, 35 minutes a game. He's only the 4th Kansas player ever with 400 assists and 100 three-pointers. But what about mom and dad? Johnny and Angie are here tonight. Angie, she's probably more nervous than Dad. Dad's got the Jayhawk hat and the Billiken sweatshirt.
He's not sure which he has on either. They're going to switch sides at halftime. A little conflict, very hard on the family. I think if Troy were playing a lot more minutes, it'd be that much harder.
Yeah. Well, he'll get some minutes tonight, say the St. Louis U coaches. Troy's a pretty good three-point shooter, just like his older brother is. At midcourt, Chris Heinrich for the Billikens, Eric Chenoweth for the Jayhawks. Jim Burr throws it up. The Hawks have the tip, and we're underway in St. Louis.
And the Billikens go, Bob Carpenter.
And they will press you for 40 minutes. There's a turnover off the hands of Kenny Gregory. St. Louis now in the half-court motion team. They would like to up-tempo things a little bit. Good backdoor cut. Beautiful. And a foul. What a way to start.
Ooh, on your home court. A little step and go. Where are you, Pete Carrill?
Jamal Walker with a bullet pass right down the paint.
Luchtefeld really is a small forward, although he plays power for this team. Walker, if he's sound with the basketball, this is a solid offensive team. Lay it up there with a sweet little kiss and maybe 3.
Ryan Luchtefeld, 5th-year senior. He's the Bill that's been around the longest out of tiny Oak Hallville, Illinois. And here's the St. Louis pressure.
And there's the press. They will look to help and tag. Occasionally will trap.
And they might be able to do some damage tonight, Billy, because Boshi's had a lot of turnovers early his first season as a Jayhawk.
And that's one thing that they're concerned about. He's going to learn by the end of the year what a solid guard he is.
Looked like Gregory could have gone to the glass. Here's Ryan Robertson misfiring the 3. Dave Ferguson, the 2-guard, up to get the rebound away from Nick Bradford.
And Ferguson has a flair for the offensive end. Very quick release. Jay Billis talked about the motion. It puts a little pressure on your defense.
Luchtefeld flashing it back to the wing for Cobbin. They post up Heinrich against Chenoweth. Quick move to the right. Sweet touch. 5-0 Billiken.
Would you call that a Heinrich maneuver? And he plays well. It's a different basketball team. Nice high-low.
Chenoweth. He got it to roll home after getting his first foul. And Eric Chenoweth gets the Jayhawks on the board.
And Bob, guys do that so well. Hold off in the post, turn on a guy.
Walker, the pull-up. St. Louis is perfect offensively, and this is a club that's had a hard time scoring baskets at times this year.
Now, what a start for them. Great look, little kiss jumper. Nice dive here by Chenoweth.
A no-looker by Bradford in the turnover. Ferguson will think better of it, having gone down the court 1-on-3. Cobbin, the three-point guy.
Well, the two of them are tough on the wings, huh? Ferguson and Cobbin.
A good reach in by Luchtefeld, and St. Louis has the possession arrow.
It's going to be a change of arrow. Everybody's used to that rule at this point.
When the Jayhawks hired Roy Williams 11 years ago, one of the coaches that was on their list of candidates was a gentleman by the name of Charlie Spoonow, who was at Southwest Missouri State at that time.
A highly thought of Spoon, of course. What a wonderful job Roy's done. Great respect from his colleagues. And they've got some kids coming in next year, too. They're all geared up.
Lester Earl and Ashante Johnson for the Jayhawks will be back after the first of the year. Cobbin, plenty of time with the shot clock. It's just now down to 15. Ferguson for the leaning Luchtefeld. Then Ferguson, a little short with the three, and a great box out by Chenoweth.
Sure was. Nice push.
Transition, you better get back. Heinrich blocking Bradford. He does the fall away thing and knocks it down.
Oh, they put a lot of pressure on your big people. The 4 or 5 man sprint to the rim. You've got to get back with them, and then the either or at the top or the reverse man.
7-4 St. Louis U.
Good pressure.
Walker
here.
picked up his dribble, calls the timeout. Charlie Spoonhour. 112 wins in 7 years now, the Billikens. One of the great characters in the game. You'll never see him with a coat and tie on. 3 NCAAs. What a great guy he is. He really did something down in Springfield. 9 years at Southwest Missouri. 4 NCAAs, couple of NITs.
I first met him at Southwest Missouri, and I'll never forget that crew neck sweater that he has on. He's maintained it all these years. A great sense of humor. A guy that loves to coach man-to-man defense. They harass, they really pressure the basketball. He's awakened this city, Bob. When I was a youngster, John Bennington was the sensational coach here at St. Louis. Ed Hickey before him had a wonderful run. But Spoon filling his building up. Turnover.
Off the inbounds play. Robertson forcing his way in and rolling it home. Mom likes it.
First met the dad in the McDonald's game here when Ryan was one of the star performers on that club. Nice back cut again, Cobbin.
Luchtefeld. Cobbin more of a catch and shoot three-point guy. You won't see him shoot much down low. Here he is on the perimeter in front of Kenny Gregory. Luchtefeld trying to set a high pick. They thought about ball reversal. Walker hops in and travels.
I tell you, that's one of those deals now. I thought he was going to jump stop, Bob. A little anticipation there. Ferguson, one of those guys that has developed, I think, a little bounce to his game, too. So if you get up with him on the shot, number 4 can blow by.
Out of San Jose City College, Dave Ferguson. Here's Robertson, the quick look for Chenoweth. He goes baseline and takes an elbow from Heinrich.
What an impressive performer he is. Saw him last year. Tough with the foot speed. Might not be a bad idea to let him catch and jump away, space off, see what he can do. I know he can make the shot, but I think they give him that lob to the, give him the lane to the hoop. They're in trouble.
St. Louis checks in one of their best on-ball defenders, John Redden, the man right there, watching Robertson on the near side.
Can play a little point as well.
Not many passing lanes at the St. Louis defensive end.
You know, I would rather him do that to beat me. Nice tip.
Oh, left-hander, nicely done by Nick Bradford. So the Jayhawks take advantage of 2 consecutive St. Louis turnovers to go on top.
Activity, and that's where they feel Lester Earl, when he comes back and he's healthy, can provide a lift on the glass.
Suddenly, the Billikens, who looked so good their first 3 times down the floor, they need a basket right here. Get something going offensively again. That's Luchtefeld, the tip away by Bradford. Shot clock at 16. We're under 16, thus our first timeout. 4:07 in. Bills a quick start. Spoonhour down by 1.
Well, defensive checking out is very essential. The important part of this, Bob, and you got excited, this starts their early offense. Chenoweth, the 5-man turn, squeezes his man Heinrich, and that permits the power forward to sprint to the rim. They turn the other end, and he'll be the reverse man, Chenoweth. Counter that with a nice touch inside. I think defensively you got to make him take that. Look at the soft touch, and Bradford cleaning up a little kiss tip for affection.
Well, Nick Bradford, a guy who plays with great energy. Giving the Jayhawks a lift there. They lead now 8-7 for the first time after St. Louis went out 7-2. Another big crowd here. They had over 20,000 last night to watch the Tigers beat the Illini. St. Louis, one of the top 10 drawing basketball programs in America. In fact, they're usually in the top 5 or 6. There's John Redden missing on the 3. Luchtefeld to touch, and there was a St. Louis push-off.
He got the push underneath there. Redden in the game, I think he should drive a little bit. Force the defense to pinch. Don't settle for the jumper.
Kansas still with its starters in there. 5 minutes into the game. Here's Boschee on the drive. The bouncer. And Luchtefeld down the paint to cover it up.
And that's one Boschee maybe could have finished himself. Over the top, nice hedge.
Redden for Cobbin. Virgil couldn't catch it and shoot it. Dumps it off. And there is Love. Justin Love. Just back from a back injury.
Let there be love, love, love. Oh, they are happy to have him back.
They've also got Justin Tatum, who played high school ball with Larry Hughes at CBC here in St. Louis. He's played 1 game. He's a big-time athlete that they will enjoy having on the court.
And Charlie said, I haven't had him enough to mess him up. Nice help.
Gregory looked away, and the Jayhawks will keep it. How about a little more love, Billy?
Well, we need a little love in every household during the holidays. And the ability to make the jumper, I think, sets up his driving game now. Now you got to go out and hug him a little bit off that back injury, as you noted. Not too many minutes against UNCC, just back a few games.
Troy Robertson left of your screen in for St. Louis. The men we talked about, Justin Tatum, is in the ball game for the Billikens. What a great athlete he is. Had a nice debut here and was very warmly received by all of Larry Hughes' friends who come to Billiken basketball games.
And he's got Pugh, real solid contributor, I think. Pull up.
Gregory, way high, way long. Chenoweth, tough rebound. He bombed up his shot off the glass, and that's Tatum getting the foul on TJ Pugh.
The big body, you got to play big against this particular team. Strong on the glass. Run those back screen, a little slice cut, gets themselves in position, but Tatum jams it up on the weak side. And good, solid, not a good release here. You can just see the ability as the tip ends up going to Tatum.
There's Love on the left wing for Troy Robertson. High pick, Heinrich, and a roll.
Nice little side pick and roll. Nice back cut here for Redden.
John Redden, pretty. Got Chenoweth off the floor. Tatum!
The pushes it. Send it in. Well, he does attack the 10. Boy, they had Chenoweth. Nice duck in. A little late.
Chenoweth over Heinrich with the right-hander. We saw him miss numerous shots like that at Allen Fieldhouse against DePaul last Thursday.
He's got to mix it up. That turnaround jumper, he loves to go to his right shoulder.
Love's 3 ignited things. Then Tatum got the jam. Troy Robertson waiting for his shot. It fell out of his hands, and Chenoweth picked it up. Here's Boschee for the Jayhawks.
See the pressure with the dribble. The high man here, Chenoweth, he's the reverse guy. They'll give him a little back screen.
Long dump down. Boschee left corner. Long with the 3. Long rebound. TJ Pugh up with it for Kansas. Ryan Robertson able to knock it down. Pugh the miss. Dueling with Tatum. And a foul.
Great trip by TJ Pugh. I mean, Sanford couldn't do it any better. Picking it all up around the 10, keeping it alive, getting himself back into a screening mode, and then getting the inside position. Nice little counter, Bob, here with the size by St. Louis. Spohn trying to match up a little with the big bodies. And you get little steps here.
So after the foul by Justin Love, Billikens will get it back. Kansas has won 11 of the previous 13 meetings between these two schools. Last time they met was in '83 right here when the Jayhawks won by 4. There's Matt Boniak. Little short with the pull-up. Love gets the rebound. He wants to go right back up.
He's tough around that rim. Little double screen, got the good look.
That's what St. Louis has not had. Coach will tell you they're a bunch of slow guys that aren't that quick down low. And Love and Tatum give them the athleticism they've been looking for.
The only slow guy is Spohn on the sideline. He's doing some moving. Gregory with one of the few good looks.
Over the top, Chenoweth with the rebound, then he lost it. Robertson leads the 3-on-1. A no-looker and a block from behind. Love blocked again. It goes down, and he's fouled.
Well, when you hustle and you make good passes on a fast break, you finish. I wonder if Ryan would have tried to pick up the charge on his brother. Get to the foul line the old-fashioned way. fill the lanes, and then the ability to finish eventually. You can see the little giveaway. But they do a nice job on a control break. They'll also fade and shoot the three on that particular run.
Gregory out, Bradford in for Kansas. Justin Love with 8 off the bench in a matter of minutes. And the Billikens lead by 9.
I heard Spoon talk early in the year. He was lamenting the fact that Love was not around. You can see why.
He was in a brace for 5 weeks after hurting his back. 10-0 St. Louis run here.
Back screen
is Landon, who just checked in. And a travel. Marlon Landon, the freshman out of Broadview, Illinois. And Roy Williams showing some concern on the road here. This is the Jayhawks' last game, Billy, before a long layoff prior to the Big 12 season opener.
Roy said they haven't done this since he's been there. A lot of time off. Kids will get a chance to get home. Nice hands. Always playing the passing lane. Helping out on the next passer, next pass receiver.
Marlon Landon, the deflection. Troy Robertson triggers it in for St. Louis. Love. Kicks for Robertson. Jamal Walker near side. Ryan Robertson watching him. And there's Tatum right back to him.
So Walker didn't change the passing lane. Robertson could help and recover.
On the wing, Love. Shot clock at 10. Penetration. Good ball reversal. It won't go down for Walker, the point guard. T.J. Bugh saves it right to Banyak, and he's rejected by Chenoweth.
And that good officials, too. A lot of guys will anticipate that block. They let it play. Good position. Stood up tall. Nice reaction by Eric.
Eric Chenoweth, a rejecting machine for the last 3 Kansas games. But right now, the Billikens are in control. A 10-0 run, 17-8, St. Louis. Thank you, Dave Feldman. A tough physical week in college basketball. Oklahoma got brawled upon in Puerto Rico the other night, a forfeit win. We had a grinder on this floor last night with Missouri and Illinois. And tonight, St. Louis uses the shooting of Justin Love. 3 of 4 off the bench. He's got 8, and they lead by 9.
And that's Dave Feldman's type of game, that banging and pushing. He can excel. An assistant to Tom Davis at Stanford. Nice handling of the pressure and a good open look for the other T. Robinson.
That's Troy's first 2.
Pretty run here. Boy, you got to get back. You can't applaud one another. Sprint and recover.
T.J. Pugh at the other end. That's the first Kansas basket in the last 12 St. Louis points.
And what they do nicely, St. Louis, they run their motion, they'll run some sets out of it. Here's a quick jack from deep. That'll get you a seat usually. But it is Love.
Marlon London on top. T.J. Pugh to the wing for Robertson. Chenoweth trying to seal. Backdoor cut for Pugh. I thought he was going to go up with a shot.
See how he turns right, though, Bob? He's got to mix it up a little. Nice little position defense by Robertson.
Banyak. Troy again.
Oh, bring on, Mom and Dad. I told you I could play a little bit. Oh, yeah. Spoon said he was excited. He was pumped. He hoped his players were, and they are.
How about this? A foul by Eric Chenoweth away from the ball on a 3.
And that gives them an opportunity to make it 5 or 6. Look at that. A little nylon from deep by the younger Troy.
So almost halfway through the first half, St. Louis by a dozen, plus they get possession here. Chenoweth sits down with a second foul. Luchtefeld for Love.
Give a little freedom, too, to guys like Love. A little up and down, Phil, exchange, and Chenoweth, who got that little small changer there.
Couple of points, couple of boards, and a block for Eric so far, but long way to go in the first half, him playing with 2 fouls.
Oh, he feels it, huh?
Robertson long.
Oh, go for that one.
Ferguson could have gone right for the loose ball. Here's Robertson again. He tried the alley-oop. Luchtefeld catches the deflection.
Slow, guys. Just be patient now.
Love does a 360 and gives it up.
Boy, they were ready defensively, though, KU. Great reaction.
Bradford for Pugh trailing. Well, let's see if little brother did something, what big brother will do. Here's London.
He gets a nice little staggered double.
There's Ryan. It just rimmed out on him. And a good grab by Bradford, and Nick's got a half dozen.
Well, you can't overlook soft touches, though. Ryan around the rim, people able to tip and convert.
Bradford, 4 of his 6 second chance points. 22-12 Billikens.
Well, he's looking to step and go. Nice play, but look at this extra inside pad.
Oh, Boniek missed it. That would have been a pretty play. Great ball movement. Instead, it goes back the other way.
Oh, that was great. A cut in traffic. All you need is love, huh? And that's helped Charlie. Little sprint to the 3-second lane. Look at that little soft, delicate delivery. And that's one you want back. Get the towel, little yoke.
And maybe with Jeff Carey in there instead of Chenoweth, Boniek expecting a little bit of contact.
That's a good point. You hurried a little bit. You hear footsteps.
St. Louis practices with an iron on their rim that keeps the ball from going in. It emphasizes rebounding. It looked like that iron was on the basket a moment ago. Terry Nooner in for Kansas, and the feed in and a foul.
You could truly say that that iron is unkind.
Is very unkind. It's brutal, in fact. Chris Heinrich with his second for St. Louis.
Good team scoring out of bounds now. You got to be alert. This is all part of it.
Terry Nooner on the wing for Boshi. Ryan Robertson a little bit cold on the bench right now. They'll look down to Carey. Too soft with the touch. Heinrich the rebound. Dave Ferguson straight ahead for St. Louis.
All that was part of the sequence. Stuck in, screen across, just didn't convert.
Look at him use the pick. Ooh, close by everybody, can't finish. Heinrich reaching, is that his third? That's a problem for St. Louis.
Well, Tatum's going to get a few more minutes. He hasn't practiced much. Boniek's coming in for him, but that's a giveaway, unnecessary as well. He gives him some effort. You never know he was an artist, right? Read the book,
no.
The pottery works and all that.
A Renaissance man.
Yes, so to speak. Not a delicate foul for a Renaissance man.
So there's Boniek, who's back in there. Local product out of DeSmet High School. A former All-American who broke a lot of Steve Stepanovich's records there.
Is that impressive?
Bradford high off the glass. Boniek sweeps him out, and that's Bradford with a rather unnecessary foul.
Yeah, a little frustrated maybe early, trying to get things going, stimulate things, down 10.
Bob Carpenter, Bill Raftery with Roy Williams and Charlie Spoonhour at the Kiel Center in St. Louis. A gigantic building that holds over 20,000. And this city school, with an enrollment of only 11,000, packs this place on a regular basis.
And a little trapped half court, and it works. And you know most of the 20, by the way.
A few. Bradford, alley-oop, Gregory. Can't flush it. Billikens, 2-on-none. Love all the way. And a foul.
Well, he saved it. It could have been 3. Boshi's, that's 1. It adds up 2. You don't want to give that one away. It could have been a 3-point play. Beat you. But you can see the alley-oop. Not a happy Roy Williams. Spoon knows he got away with one. That little alley-oop. Just get the deuce. And it's very hard, the one-handed, not only to catch, but to deliver. A little too deep. Make the nice, simple pass. Convert. That's the noise you want to hear, is the deuce.
Justin Love, 9 already. In his first game, he had 9 in 15 minutes against Cal State Fullerton. Then he had a nightmare against the Illini, 1 for 9. Came back strong on Sunday with 6 points, 3 boards, couple of assists, and 4 steals against North Carolina Charlotte. And here he is tonight off the bench in double figures, a well-deserved breather.
Now they're going to probably yo-yo him back and forth, full court pressure. It's rushed Kansas on a few trips, but by and large, they've gotten some great shots, just able to convert.
Jayhawks, who averaged 74 points a game, 12 points in 12 minutes of this game. Boshi,
Charlie begging for some walks.
Bradford the dump down. Gregory finding Bradford after the double team. And St. Louis has it. Virgil Cobb in the rebound.
Settling a little bit deep. Big trip, I think, for St. Louis. Get themselves a good look and get to the foul line.
Here's Redden penetrating, jumping, stopping, traveling.
A good call by Jim. Once you establish the jump stop, you can't move your foot. Charlie's into it early, Bob.
St. Louis leads by 12. If they hit a couple of layups, it might be 15 or so. Some turnovers early, but Spoonhour has to love the way his club's playing right now. Tatum and company with Love coming up big off the bench. Well, we've got one distinguished member in the audience tonight, a guy last year who made a great impact. All-American, St. Louis U's 4th in their history. All-Conference USA, Larry Hughes, like a lot of other pros now, waiting around for a chance to play.
Not much to do but keep in shape, huh?
Hey, so how about some of the games he had last year? 40 against Marquette, 30 UAB, 32 against Louisville, and then against UAB the second time, 37.
Unbelievable. I just think he can't get himself a game.
Can't get a game. Kansas 0 for 6 from three-point range tonight. So Boshi penetrates, dumps, and physically into the paint. That's Bradford, and that's 8 for Nick tonight.
And Luckefeld got up, hurting just a little bit. Boshi twice now has gotten in, that time with good result. John
Redden on the wing for Virgil Cobbin, who's been held off the board so far. He's St. Louis's best three-point guy.
Yeah, nice. Good use of the dribble there. Unfortunately, too much traffic.
Here's Gregory looking to speed it up for Kansas.
Nice dive.
Carey. Good no-looker for Bradford. Boshi for 3, and they're 0 for 7 now. He missed him. So St. Louis gets it back.
Roy Williams thinking they got the basketball back, but the ability to get in the lane is as good as a post play. Right here, the little dump back. Always see the traffic. Nice feel for the game, Boshi. And talking to the coaches, his understanding of what's a good pass and turnover will come. He loves big shots. Joe Holiday said against Penn, he made a real big one down the stretch.
Barely got them a win at the Palestra.
Franny Dumpy does an excellent job. You know that.
Robertson on the wing.
Always looking to step and go on that wing. Give him a clear side. He's not afraid, unabashed.
That's a 3 for Ryan Luchtefeld. His first of the year. He's now 1 for 11.
I see he's hurting too. Watch him. See him holding his back, Bob.
He took a shot when Nick Bradford scored, flashing down the paint a minute or so ago.
Well, his dad and uncle both played here back when I played, incidentally. So this name has been around for quite a while, as you can tell by the gray hair. But a little nylon deep. A nice all-around player. I think he's an excellent passer, and all of a sudden he gets this reaction in his back.
Little back spasm right there.
Ooh, that's what we get usually after one of those coast-to-coast trips.
Yeah, but ours take a little longer.
Coffee, tea, or I don't mind if I do. What vintage?
6:40 before halftime. St. Louis by 13 over Kansas.
And they're looking to sniff here. A little trap, nice hands.
Redden looking to force. Bradford got the deflection, and that's going to be out off the Jayhawks, Ryan Robertson.
Pretty good reaction. Just coming up empty. They have a great ability to make themselves wider, covering big area with their wingspan, KU.
Jamal Walker back for the Bills.
How about LaSalle? Speedy gets one against Niagara. Speedy Morris, that is.
Kansas 10 turnovers in this game. How about that? 10 turnovers and 14 points. Walker for Troy Robertson. Ferguson looking for Boniak to post up against TJ Pugh.
Chenoweth with the 2 probably won't be a factor at all this half.
Tatum posting up against Bradford.
Boy, they sniffed the
Get rid of it.
Huh? Great job.
Robertson came to the ball. Flashes in. A reach in from behind. Looks like Kenny Gregory.
Yeah, I think so.
That would be his second.
Once you get behind, the opponent's in the driver's seat. You got to time your cut, though, against Kansas. Roy Williams people do a wonderful job denying the basketball. The dribble's picked up. You got to sprint and get yourself free. That could have been a turnover last trip.
2 on Kenny. 7 on Kansas. So a 1-and-1 for St. Louis as Troy Robertson goes to the line. Troy had a game 2 years ago that led the Billikens to believe he might become a big-time three-point shooter. As a freshman in '97, he hit 6 out of 7 three-pointers against Eastern Illinois and had 24 points. Has never quite been able to get back there. He was St. Louis U's most improved player as a sophomore last year.
A pretty nice honor for him, because this is unusual. These two playing again reminds me of the Hurleys, when Bobby and Danny, when they had to play against one other, Duke and Seton Hall.
Yeah.
And the emotions and the difficulty of mustering up.
Well, I had some of the St. Louis guys tell me we don't know why Ryan gets booed at Columbia by the Missouri fans. He was closer to being a Billiken than he was a Tiger. Here's Walker running for St. Louis.
They'll take the early one here. Nice defense.
Oh, great reach by Bradford, and St. Louis last to touch it. Nick Bradford really having a good athletic game so far.
How about the scouting here? They know Ferguson's going to take that three. They rush at him, make him put it on the floor, and then get some assistance. Very alert.
5.5 before halftime. Billikens over the Hawks by 14. St. Louis a surprise over Kansas so far.
Now spoon ball, great defense, try and get good shots on the other end.
Chenoweth back in, high post, goes down low. Marlon London, the kick for Ryan Robertson, the angle for TJ Pugh, quick to the right side. Two Billikens reject him.
TB, huh?
Look like Banya and Tatum.
Right. Well, Chenoweth was saying you got to use him a little bit. I think Pugh was looking. But the pressure defense forced him to put it on the floor as he turns the corner. The collaboration.
Shot clock at 10 right now. Boshi facing up against Ferguson. The hook for Chenoweth, and the right-hander won't go.
Can't beat that
Justin
shot.
Tatum pulling it down.
Can't beat that opportunity. Little high pick and roll. Banya a little late. I think he should have taken a dive to the tin.
Ferguson. Ryan Robertson on him. Jamal Walker against Chenoweth. Flashes by, dumps for Tatum. Tough catch, and a foul on TJ Pugh will be his second.
And Jamal Walker, looking at some games getting ready, he had a tendency to give it up prematurely, make a mistake with the delivery, but this one he keeps the dribble alive in a smart fashion, finds a partner here, and Tatum unable to convert, but in the right place. He has a good understanding of where to be, around the rim.
Justin Tatum, academically ineligible as a freshman. His first game here on Sunday, he played 12 minutes against Carolina Charlotte, 7 points, 4 rebounds. He was Larry Hughes' teammate in high school at CBC, Christian Brothers Academy. He had pretty good numbers. They were the 4A champs 2 years ago. He had 17 points, 9 rebounds a game.
And how about the AAU team, Redden and Banya on the same team with him?
St. Louis Eagles.
Yeah, you want to tee it up with them, would you?
Larry likes it. I caught Larry doing a little private whispering coaching of his young friend at practice yesterday. He'll give a little hint or two.
He knows how to play. Good pressure. Don't let him have vision on the pass. Charlie does a wonderful job with his defense. And they get a little carry, a little luggage without the Bellman. He emotes, doesn't he? And so does that guy. Roy knows this is not going to be an easy one if they don't start converting those easy hoops that they're getting. It's going to have to start with some defensive stops, Bob.
16 minutes into this game, and Kansas has 14 points.
They average 74, too.
Here's Love, hanging, a little short with it. Nooner at midcourt. It's 1-4 Love by Jamal Walker. He dishes, and it's going back the other way. Justin Love with the charge.
You know what happens when Love gets out of control? Well, see your lawyer.
It's ugly, huh?
It's not pretty, but getting into that lane, you got to have great control, particularly against KU.
That was the 7th St. Louis turnover. Kansas is at 12. Jayhawks have not shot a free throw. Spoonhauer's Billikens, 7 of 8. High pick, TJ Pugh. Ryan Robertson can't drill it. Looked a little tentative. And the Jayhawks will get it back with a fresh 35. 3:45 before halftime. The senior being slightly bested by his brother so far. Kiel Center, St. Louis. College basketball every year we see early season surprises. This one shaping up as a possible. Kansas 7 of 26 from the floor so far. Eric Chenoweth had to leave early with a couple of fouls. They'll need him to do some things here in the final 3:45 before halftime.
And he's on the floor. They got to use him. And Roy Williams, of course, down there with Dean Smith, knows as much as anybody. But what happens once in a while, you settle for jump shots, or they'll give you other shots and not utilize Chenoweth. So I think they got to give him some touches. Here he comes.
Ryan Robertson looking for him. He draws the double. He turns, cannot score. Justin Love the rebound for St. Louis.
Boy, he's had some wonderful looks. Just stroke it, big guy.
He's 0 for 5, making 1 for 6 now. Walker, Troy Robertson thought about the 3. Chenoweth gambles. Wow, with 2 fouls, that could have been dangerous.
Well, that's coach. You know, he had a great 3-quarter. Didn't have his body wrapped up. Look at Pugh trying to load up down low. Here's the back screen. Get him to the box.
Robertson the look for Nooner. Doesn't shoot much. Off to the right. Justin Tatum got up there to help. Straight ahead to Love. Over Ryan. Did he take the charge? Yeah.
Does he offer it up? And that's the experience. That's what you love about seniors. He's coachable. He understands the game. Willing to take it on the chin. His brother took it on the nose in practice. He takes it right on the butt.
30-14 St. Louis. The scoring in this one has really slowed down at both ends. And the Jayhawks about to look at a season low for first half scoring. This may be the lowest in years. DJ Pugh.
Good
off
job.
the glass.
And Roy Yo-Yo and Chenoweth too. Nice use. Back screen. Lock load. There's a little trap. Good job. Oh, they get the ball too because the defense caused it. And they don't change the arrow. You notice Don Rutledge going over to make sure they're handling that much better, don't you think?
There was sole possession. That's the key to the call. Don Rutledge with Jim Bird, Tom O'Neill, great veteran crew here in St. Louis tonight. Okay, you a chance to put a little mini run together here late in the first half. Maybe get back inside 10 or so.
Nice hands.
Virgil Cobbin the foul. That's a hustle foul.
That's yours. You can't argue with that one. Nice little scrape down in the box area.
Let's check in on ESPN.com news and notes. 7 teams still unbeaten in Division I, including Cincinnati from Conference USA, New Mexico, Auburn, Murray State, UConn, Arizona, Toledo. Only 2 days off for college hoops for Christmas and New Year's Day. They keep playing. And for all the stories in college hoops, log on to ESPN.com.
Now, you've been around longer than I have. Have you ever seen so many big games this early, November and December?
In all my decades, no. No, you're right, Billy. Some great matchups.
Oh, ESPN has brought the best.
You know, Missouri's been playing Illinois for years. A couple of years ago, we got UMass and UConn together. That's become a Northeastern staple now in November, December. Here's Jamal Walker, short with the three. And Tatum was getting hooked.
Pugh, I think, held on to him. Now, that's one of those, if I were Jamal Walker, and I know you want to make the open shot or take the open shot, but run the offense a little, make them sprint the floor. They want to trap, make them work. You may end up with a nice, easy one.
That's 3 on TJ Pugh with 2:04 remaining before halftime. Boniak takes a seat. Pugh with his third at the line. Justin Tatum. He was considered a top 100 player coming out of Christian Brothers College.
And Roy's going to play real small right now, I think. It'll be Carey. Pugh goes out with the three.
Now be nice to Justin, Billy. If he doesn't play pro ball, his ambition after St. Louis U is to be an FBI agent.
Well, I'll stay out of this area.
And he's doing some pretty good undercover work for the Bills right now. A half dozen off the bench. Justin Love has 10, so that's half of the Billikens 32 by their new guys. Ryan Robertson.
Look at this defense. Pesky, harassing.
Almost 5 seconds.
Look where they're making him start the offense.
Ryan Robertson after the switch by Carey. Short. Cobbin the rebound for St. Louis.
And they're all helping down there. They know they're small. Contribute.
A minute 40. One of the best first halves St. Louis U's had in a long time. Oh. Jamal Walker drops it in.
People love that 3-second lane to do their one-on-one.
34-16.
And look at Charlie wants to deny. He gets it. Spoon ball. Well, double your pleasure, huh? No sugar in the coffee. Spoon gets them. They get after you. They get into your lingerie.
Walker in trouble.
Good step through.
Luchtefeld for Tatum. The turn, little short, got his own, and he was stripped of it by Nick Bradford.
Didn't need it, though. He should have kicked it back out.
1 minute to go first half. Nooner. No. It finds Gregory. He can't hit it down. And a foul on the Billikens.
Yeah, on the follow. They are really not shooting well. It's perplexing. not really running the offense particularly well, and I attribute that to the great man-to-man defense.
Roy Williams is going to have a halftime report of his own for his club. We've got ours coming up. Dave Feldman, Jay Billis.
He needs Jay out here, I think, huh?
Yeah.
Lock and load the lane.
Some of those Duke smarts.
And maybe Dave will give it up once in a while.
Kenny Gregory, his first of the night. They'll look at Fairfield and #1 UConn. Razorbacks and Wake on before us. And some highlights out of the Big Ten tonight on the Courtyard by Marriott halftime report.
And you think of all the things that Roy runs, the lob off the back screen to the rim and the staggered double. They have not been able to get their sets because they've been bounced out of their cuts, and great communication defensively by Spoon's guys, and he wants the 20. Wants to make sure they get a real good one this trip.
It comes with 48.4 seconds remaining, and the Billikens on top, 34-18. It's a little early to be talking about this, but to plant the seed for later. It's been a long, long time since St. Louis has had a home court win over a ranked opponent in a non-conference game. They knocked off Louisville a couple of years ago. They've beaten Cincinnati here in the 90s, along with UAB, Marquette, and Louisville again. But against Kentucky back in the 60s, that's about how long it's been. More on that later. We'll see how the second half goes.
A long way to go, and Spoon now wants to. They have not run. They put a double and a single screen along the baseline out of their motion. One of the things they do nicely is camouflage their plays. It's all motion. All of a sudden, they stick you with a side pick and roll or a double. Good help here.
And the turnover. Nooner, Gregory, Luchtefeld looking to take the charge, but Troy Robertson reached in.
You got to be ready every trip. Call a timeout. You set up an offensive play, assuming or presuming you're going to beat the timeline and get organized in your set. And KU realizing that at that particular time, let's go get one. We got to get ourselves back in this. All of a sudden, it's 14, Bob, if he makes these two.
Jayhawks, well, part of their tradition being a great shooting team. Tonight, they're 8 for 32. And it's hard to overcome 14 first-half turnovers when you don't make shots.
It makes this, they can set their press up again, too. A lot can happen in the next 40. And resting Chenoweth, no foul with the 2 fouls. He'll be able to go full tilt at the beginning of the second half.
Gregory short with a second one. Tough rebound. It came right down into Luchterfeld's face. He gets tied up by Carey, and Kansas has the arrow.
I think it's a change of arrow. Yeah, they were dialoguing. You were right on.
Yeah, that one should be.
Absolutely.
I don't think on a rebound like that you're talking sole possession.
No, that's loose ball. And now Roy has got a chance to get another 2. Luchtefeld got hold, but could never. Actually trapped him, that ball. Came down at him.
It was such a bad free throw. It was tough to rebound.
They score, and you got your press ready. Ooh, they had Carey if they wanted. Down screen out of bounds.
Ryan Robertson only 2 points this half. Little brother's got 5. Bradford to the baseline. Took a hit before. Looked like Boniek with the reach, according to Don Rutledge.
Maybe Luchtefeld, too. He was around the scene, too. Who'd they get?
It'll be Luchtefeld, his second. This is, you know, the Blues play here on the ice right below here. This is looking like a power play. All the action's at one end for the last minute or so.
They had the Devils today up in New Jersey.
Bradford.
But you are big. I thought McGuire was big in town. Walk through that stadium. We want Carpenter.
Mr. Raff got a private tour today. He walked where Big Mac walks.
That's as far as it went.
2 giants in their respective sports. Bradford with the left-hander. That's 9 for Nick in the first half.
And they made it a little half court again. The trap looking to sniff now.
No shot clock here. Ferguson to Virgil Cobbin. They'd like the ball in the hands of Troy Robertson or Ferguson here.
Everybody trying to deny.
Virgil working to the baseline. Nothing there for him. 5 seconds to go. Boniek finds Luchtefeld. Came down with
up and down. What defense. What a trip. Heads up. The denial all over the floor. Very aggressive. And then Bradford closing out. Caused the turnover.
Kansas has a 20 to burn or else they lose it. So Roy goes ahead and takes it here with 1.8 seconds to go.
You gamble now, go long. We knew it would be a lot of defense on both ends of the floor. Both coaches renowned for their ability to get their teams to create havoc, whether it's blocking shots. Good coordination here, the collaboration by St. Louis. Here's the turnaround. He likes that right shoulder, unable to make the conversion though. And right there, the great denial. We've seen it on both ends, and that's the reason the scoring's down.
1.8 seconds. Carey, the touchdown pass. The Robertson's in the air, and Troy gets the PBU.
Dan,
pass broken up.
Dan, he fouled me. Did you imagine in the backyard?
What a good first half for the Billikens of St. Louis. Tough defense, opportunistic scoring, and a shocking 14-point lead over the 11th ranked Jayhawks. So Dave Feldman, Kansas on the road, a possible pre-holiday headache shaping up here in St. Louis.
All right, Bob, thank you very much. That is a headache. When you only score 20 points, Jay Billis, and you're averaging 74 plus, something's gone wrong, and maybe it's the other team's defense.
And we talked about it before the game. Bill Raftery talked about it as well. St. Louis plays great half-court man-to-man defense, and they totally took Kansas out of everything they wanted to do offensively. The only time Kansas was really scoring was in transition off of their own defense and from the free throw line. Against St. Louis's half-court defense, Kansas got absolutely nothing. And 20 points in the first half, not enough. Roy Williams cannot be happy with the execution his team showed in that first half.
All right, Jay and I are coming back with the Courtyard by Marriott halftime report. Some fisticuffs involving the #1 team in the nation. You don't want to miss that. We're coming right back with the halftime.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of NCAA basketball is brought to you by Service Merchandise. Be sure to visit us online at www.servicemerchandise.com. And by Chrysler, engineered to be great cars.
Halftime, St. Louis surprising everybody now, leading Kansas by 14 here at the Kiel Center. And you know, Johnny Robertson normally travels hundreds of miles to watch his boys play basketball. There's Ryan on the left as little guys, and Troy, and there's Ryan on the right, always the bigger guy. And then through high school at St. Charles West, and here they are in Division I. And Dad spends all the time in the car. Tonight, he goes about 20 miles and gets 2 for the price of 1. Johnny, what do you think about this happening tonight?
Well, I tell you what, this is a great opportunity for them to play one another. They've never done this in organized basketball, and we're so excited. I find myself clapping all the time.
Last night they had the bragging rights game here, Missouri, Illinois. Is that anything compared to your dinner table come Christmas?
I think it's similar.
How about halftime now with Ryan? You were telling me off air what a great competitor he is. What do you think he's feeling? What is he feeling like? What is he thinking?
Well, first of all, he's not used to missing that many shots. I don't think he shot that poorly all year. And secondly, to be behind and be here and be home, he's a great competitor, and I'd be really surprised to not see him come out and really get something done here.
Did you settle a few fights as they were growing up?
Yeah, you know how it is. The little one doesn't have as much opportunity to fight the other one off when they're real little. Now they're big enough size. I think Troy might hold his own.
John, one final question. How's Mom doing tonight? How's Angie handling this whole thing?
Nervous as she can be. You know, as you might imagine, you look at one right now, for instance, Troy's doing a great job, playing well, and here's Ryan having trouble getting the ball in the hole. So we're going, you know, how should you feel?
All right.
They're going to switch seats now, right? Aren't you going on the KU side?
Yeah, now we're going to go over and sit on the KU side.
All right. Hey, you can look at it one way. You can't lose tonight. Thanks for coming back.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. I'm glad to be here.
Johnny Robertson, Ryan's dad, Troy's dad, an emotional night for their family. Charlie Spoonhour has bigger concerns right now, trying to win a basketball game against a ranked opponent on his own floor. The second half should be something. We'll see how it shakes out early, at least, for St. Louis U against Roy Williams Jayhawks here. Billikens with second half possession to start things off. And Ryan Luchtefeld, the trigger man, to throw it in.
And a turnover out of the gate.
Bradford
stepping it up.
Oh, that's what St. Louis did not want to do.
Defense, sort of the trademark of both of these coaches, but Roy knows, I'm sure it was very emotional. Hey, we got to get after it.
Walker for the cutting. Ferguson, yes, and a foul. Well, if at the other end that's not what they needed, they sure needed that, as Ferguson gets the feed from Jamal Walker. Kansas shoots as poorly as we have ever seen a Jayhawk team in the first half.
And you noted there's some good looks, too, some low post jumpers, and in effect struggling, but relying now pretty much on the defense. And that time a great counter as Ferguson used the bump and then curled to the middle.
That was Ryan Robertson on the Kansas foul a moment ago. Ryan with possession against Walker. Penetration. Walker a nice reach, and St. Louis up with it on the turnover. 15th of the game for the Jayhawks. Cobbin.
And they've shut him off, haven't they? There are no easy looks.
From the left side, it won't go. Ferguson out there. Here's Foshi running. Foshi came into the game with more turnovers than assists on the year. 41 and 43.
And I thought he's been solid, though, tonight, Bob. Haven't you? Good decisions. Head up with the bounce that trip.
The feed for Chenoweth.
Everybody gets out of his way.
Heinrich with 3 fouls. Luchtefeld, and then getting in there late was Bradford to strip it right away to get the possession.
Bradford got away with one, huh? I think he went a little overzealous.
It looked like he was late in crashing, Bill.
But Urich with just a magnificent little kiss delivery, he's got to knock that down. I mean, he's had some good looks, and you can see Heinrich in a disadvantageous position and begging a little. Good screen. Look how deep Chenoweth is.
Lost it on the way up. Luchtefeld another grab, and Marlon London. This will be an arrow St. Louis's way.
And no possession of the loose basketball. Oh, squeezing the pill. And you get the ball in that 3-second lane, you're 7 feet. Generally, some good things happen for your team.
36-22 St. Louis, a 5-5 ball club. Charlie said yesterday, if we'd had Love and Tatum, we'd be 8-2 right now. They are difference makers, and off the bench, they made a big difference in the first half of this game.
And Bob, right now they got to be solid the first 4 minutes of this half. And it could change the complexion of it. Get good shots, run their sets.
Look at Walker through traffic to Heinrich. Tough catch. Got rid of it. It comes loose for Ferguson, and the ball barely left his hands.
Pulled the string just a little bit. Pressure with the bounce. See how they give so much room for the low post guy to maneuver. That's why Heinrich's out there. Don't give him vision on the pass.
Heinrich playing with 3 fouls. Gregory stopped by Cobbin. A pass hitting the iron there. And Bradford will get one.
And they're a little upset in the house. They figure he should have had 2 by now. Is that number 2?
Yep.
Yeah, he should have had that earlier one to make it 3. I think what Roy's looking for is just a little aggressive style of basketball, some enthusiasm. That steps up, you get good shots, they go down.
Luchtefeld for Cobbin. Eddie Gregory has kept Virgil Cobbin from shooting throughout this game. So he penetrates. Oh, high off the glass.
Oh, what a play by Heinrich. Turned his guy totally open up the dribble lane in a high shot.
Known as a player not that good at putting it on the floor. Foshi penetrates to score. And that's his first basket right after Cobbin did the same at the other end. 38-24 St. Louis. 2 minutes out of halftime.
And St. Louis really been able to do it without an inside game per se, Bob. It's been a nice pick by Luchtefeld.
Walker. Foshi in front of him. Cobbin on the wing. Gregory too close. So back to Walker from Heinrich. Back door. He ran without the ball.
Nice slide. And what happened? Chenoweth tried to hand hedge. Nice dive by Heinrich. Let those big puppies moving.
And the Billikens lead the Jayhawks by 16. A major, major upset brewing in St. Louis. Gregory for 3.
Ooh, how about that one? Slight case of early onions.
Eddie Gregory with a half dozen. That's his first field goal tonight. Here's Cobbin penetrating again.
Tough shot.
Heinrich, look out. That's his 4th.
Yeah, he is an aggressive player. Plays as though he doesn't have any fouls. They don't have that much flexibility up front. I wonder if they'll go to Tatum.
St. Louis U, great basketball tradition. Billy mentioned earlier they had some great days in the Missouri Valley Conference, but their marquee sport over the years has been college soccer.
Oh, extraordinary.
Their coach, Bob Warming, at practice yesterday, working on foot drills with the big fellas of Charlie Spoonhour.
How about the big fella there with the touch, Bob?
Eric Chenoweth with 4. Trying to get St. Louis to be a little quicker, foot loose and fancy free down low, if you will. Ferguson takes a hit from the late Ryan Robertson. Ryan just a little tardy getting there.
Oh, you got to be careful. You get towards that half-court line, you need somebody to post in the middle of the floor.
4:03 out of halftime. Virgil Cobbin had taken it to the rack, but the Jayhawks are showing some signs of life now. Oh, Jay, that wasn't a kiss off the glass. That was a smooch.
Jay, that was a pretty smooch. Jay, you've never been strung out like that. I know. You got great control.
Those Duke guys, they're all flying high after last night, aren't they?
Boy, did they get after Kentucky defensively. Ooh.
Cobbin on top, Ferguson. Jamal Walker, look out. Kansas down by just 11. They got that Kenny Gregory 3, Billy, and they could shave off a bunch in a hurry.
Nice.
Walker, backdoor, Boniak misses another jam, but there was a foul. He missed a layup earlier, couldn't quite finish.
And Spoon gave a reluctant applause at the end of that. He wanted 3. Draw the man, draw yours, and give it up. Boniak just unable, the quickness necessary to get up and finish it off before you get hit.
That's why they're working with the soccer coach, Bob Warming. They used a goalkeeper drill yesterday. They put the kids right next to the wall, slam the ball off the wall, and try to get them to react to grab it right away. It's really interesting, some of the principles they brought into the St. Louis U gym. Not Boniak
No penalty
with his first
kicks,
basket. No penalty kicks. No yellow cards either for some of the rough stuff
And
yesterday.
no red cards. I've had a few of those after midnight. But you're right, this program for soccer over the years, and of course basketball, Bevo Nordman, that name jumps in. And pretty good players early on. Don't leave your feet. Look at this hustle by Pugh.
Boshi, the pull-up, and he's got 2 in a row.
And that won't show in the box score, but once again, Pugh offering it up for the Jayhawks.
Hey, I'd have to give him an assist, even though it was 40 feet away.
No question, just extraordinary effort.
Cobbin on the wing. Again, Gregory has shut down his outside game tonight.
Now, this is where they test you now. Good program.
There it is. Catch and shoot. Well off to the right.
Never got turned.
Yeah, looked like he never got squared up, did he? Robertson bounces off Walker and scores, and here come the Jayhawks.
And a pretty good non-call, too.
Down by 9 at 42-33.
Tightness now. You got to have confidence. Electrical, one of those guys that generally undeterred in tough situations. If they get him involved, Bob.
Now the poise of the Billikens, Billy, tested at this juncture. Boniak knocks it down.
Not bad. They got it inside.
His first field goal, sophomore out of DeSmet, made the Conference USA all-freshman team last year.
Chenoweth doing a nice job setting up Boniak. They didn't get a guy at the top.
Boshi the kick. Ryan Robertson can't knock down the 3. He's 0 for 4 beyond the arc today.
And Boniak, nice job sealing a quick jack.
Ooh, Ferguson well off. That's when the coach usually takes a look down the bench to see who's ready. Robertson rejected by Luchtefeld, but it looked like Boniak might have fouled him.
And they got a small change on the rear there. And once again, the ability to get in position. Robertson with the confidence. You play 4 years, you understand. He played for Jacques Vaughn at the point, ran the show, moved to the 2 spot, helping Boshi here. You can see the nice block up top of Boniak on the rear.
A whole slew of Jayhawk injuries have set off a chain reaction in their lineup. And speaking of that 4 guy, they'll get Lester Earl back after the first of the year. Ashante Johnson will be right behind him. There's Lester, who this year has played 6 ball games, 5.6 boards a game. He will be a big-time athletic addition to this lineup.
And you mentioned Ashante Johnson playing with Justin Love. How about that program? Kenyatta, JC.
Ryan Robertson with a half dozen now. That's where Ashante Johnson was a star.
Oh, look at this step in by Brad. Pretty.
Bouncer, Robertson. His brother fouls him.
And the defense feeding, turning it the other way. And not the poise by St. Louis, not the deployment, telegraph and passing.
Troy says, this isn't the driveway, buddy. You're not going over me this time.
And right here, once again, in the backcourt, just over the timeline, you see Pugh is part of that. And the post guy got there too early. Bradford in position. And maybe on the garage, I'd let you go. But not here.
There's a little buzz in the crowd after that play. But look out. Ryan Robertson, 5 of his 7 now in the early minutes of the second half. John Redden is back for St. Louis. Troy got 6 points in the first half. A rebound and an assist in 12 minutes.
This is why coaches envy you. You've never felt this. When there's slippage, you can feel it getting away.
Yeah.
And you can see Charlie making some responses, putting different faces in. Redden, who can play the point now, running the show. He's got to be looking up for the double.
Good job. Back to 7. Redden got through the double. Here's Justin Love. A big first half, but 3 fouls limited him to 9 minutes when he scored those 10. Bradford comes up with it again.
Too much and then behind the back. Watch yourself. Ooh. Bradford fortunate to get up as Nick gave it an all out, but that's that right hand to his left. And not as good with the spin dribble, but Justin Love showing inexperience, getting into traffic without making a decision.
We give Bradford the floor burn, and Raff taking the charge on that play.
Well, I kept my feet in front of me.
Not to mention the table.
I established position. Hank Nichols would be proud of me. You can move any place once you put your feet down.
St. Louis U with the 20. Roy Williams furiously staying after his club. They've turned the momentum around in this game, and now they need to keep it going. Long way to go.
Now, Roy knows he can turn it up a notch. He's got some answers now, particularly with the trap and the rotation. Do you remember the run and jump, North Carolina?
Oh, yeah.
It's a little bit like that, although they're not looking for exchanges. It's just one guy tagging the basketball and the other guy timing the double up and then sprinting to the next option.
St. Louis U led at the half by 14. Early in the second half, they led by 16. It's down to 7 now. And Luchtefeld takes a push from Jeff Carey. It'll be his first.
And not necessary either. They had him in a pretty good position. One thing St. Louis has to do is sprint to the spot and then jump to the basketball. Don't let it linger out there. Close down that passing lane.
Redden to switch for Luchtefeld. Bradford watching Troy Robertson.
Screen for Redden. And a good
yes from the corner.
So a little moxie. You knew it was going to be a tilt. A nice little play here.
Justin Love with 13 after that 3.
Well, Love will bite you when you least expect it. They got to retaliate a little bit defensively to get to be that pesky type of philosophy espoused by Charlie.
DJ Pugh. Tough defense out high by Luchtefeld. Flashing out is Ryan Robertson. They deny him, but Bradford's there. Defense, Troy Robertson.
Should have forced him to the right. Bad shot.
Oh,
so much for that. Little step through.
47-39 St. Louis. We've played over 7 minutes now out of halftime. Robertson looking to Boniak. TJ Pugh, the great defensive player, but he lost it in saving it.
Boy, does he offer it up. It's just a wonderful read. It's one of the guys on this team that picks up charges as well. He sees it. Very creative defensively.
Well, he's not a starter, but he's been considered the Jayhawks' best defender.
Wow, Charlie.
Another 3 for Love.
And Charlie did what he's over there. He was clearing out to get it into the low post. Enough of that. And the little small change as Redden trails the length of the floor.
Justin Love, more points than minutes tonight. He had 10 and 9 minutes in the first half, and he drills a pair of 3s here to keep St. Louis on top in this game.
Set play, too. The wave out. See Charlie waving them all out, and he's got a low post play with a settling jumper. Nylon!
Bradford looking in. TJ Prenny, good look for Carey. Jeff's first basket, and TJ finding him beautifully.
Characteristic of this team, great interior passing. Good feel for one another.
See a play like that, and The one thing that comes to mind is those Tar Heel blue roots of Roy Williams.
Look at this. They went over the top. Nice job. Get a good shot. Good hustle.
Luckefeld keeps it alive after the miss by Banya.
Now they're trapping outside, so there are numbers underneath the basket. Good read by St. Louis.
They get a fresh 35, so they've got plenty of time here. Picking up his dribble, Love. Troy Robertson against Nick Bradford.
A curl by Luckefeld and a pop out by Redden.
Redden takes on Ryan Robertson, who just reaches around, and that's 3 quickies on him since halftime.
Well, what happens now, he's playing Redden, so as he closes out, that foot speed, Redden is known as a pretty good deep shooter. The ability to blow by exhibited itself there.
The under 12-minute timeout, 11:23. St. Louis still keeping it going, up by 9. Kansas turning around the momentum in the second half of this game, but it's Justin Love, long-range bombing right now, keeping the Billikens on top.
Love makes the world go round, huh? 5 for 8 and 3 for 4 from threes. He's filling it up, clear outs or pop-out jump shots, and this is one. Charlie wanted a little 2-man play. He's feeling real good, and they got some answers. They had trouble scoring early in the year.
I'm just wondering what kind of game he's going to have when Cincinnati visits St. Louis on the Deuce February 14th, Valentine's Day.
It will be a sweet evening.
He might go off big time that night.
Look at this.
He's got another.
They fell asleep on the inbounds. Excellent maneuver. Redden in good position as John finds it.
Justin Love with 18. St. Louis back on top, 11. Ryan Robertson, the kick for Bradford, quick to the baseline, and the pull-up is short. Who's going to come down with it? It'll come down to Robertson. Nobody guards him. He misses the 3. He's been unable to knock down a shot from beyond the arc tonight.
And that's what his dad said. He's had really good looks, unable to knock him in.
That was a good stop for St. Louis. A chance now to increase the lead. We're 40 seconds away from the 10-minute mark.
Chenoweth's got Tatum. Where he's going to have some problems on a shot, and they get a little pick here. I'm not so sure as Gregory gets involved. But checking out's very important, I think, for Chenoweth on Tatum.
Roy Williams against Charlie Spoonhour. Bob Carpenter with Bill Raftery. Kiel centers St. Louis. And with 10:35 to go, the Billikens by 11. They send Troy Robertson to the line. And in the battle of brothers tonight, Ryan now has the upper hand after Troy was the first half guy.
And how about the other day? He didn't have any minutes against UNCC. A 62% free throw shooter knocks the first one down.
He's had a couple of ball games with 11 this year.
They must have had some great games on the pavement, huh?
How about the games of horse?
Hey, who did the chores in this house?
probably Mom.
Mom and Dad, right?
Yeah.
Guys this good. They weren't doing much painting.
Sorry, Mom. Sorry, Mom. I got to shoot 100 more jumpers. Boshi, yes, and a foul.
Umboshi, Umbosha. Great use of the bounce, the strength, the affectionate little kiss at the end. He's got a wonderful left hand with the dribble. And look at this. Take the hit. And that is painless when you get a smooch like that.
Justin Love with his 4th foul. He will sit. And it comes with 10:27 remaining. So Kansas can't stop him. Maybe the whistles will.
Boshi, one of those McDonald All-Americans we see in some of these high-profile programs. You can see why.
Good out of Valley City, North Dakota, and grew up wanting to play for the Jayhawks.
Hey, maybe on the pro tour, too, huh? Which is he number 3 in golf in his
charge. Yeah, he takes it. That was John Redden charging on Boshi.
He will offer it up. This is a team from watching tape KU that's finding themselves. It could be an awful enjoyable year for Roy as they grow and develop. They're not there yet.
As opposed to his recent teams, Billy, that have faded late. This one might peak at the end.
And this guy won't fade.
Wow. Boshi with 9, and Billy, he had 0 at halftime.
He's a gamer, I think.
54-46. Jayhawks, the closest they've been is 7. It's at 8 right now.
We're going to take away the dribble path. He's going to get a 5-second call.
Tatum, haven't seen Justin in a while. He should be well rested. He takes Chenoweth down. Ball may have been blocked away. Bradford for Boshi and back, and he traveled.
He got it a little bit late. Really caught it. That's one Nick should have held on to maybe. not in position to do much once Boshi caught it. But Tatum, one of those deals, you got to know your game a little bit and know who you're playing against. You got one of the premier shot blockers in the country. You make your turn like that, and just in time, he gets a piece of it.
38 turnovers in this game, each team with 19. And Boshi just leans in and bumps his man for foul number 3.
Well, he's got pretty good legs, though, doesn't he? He's solid. Gets himself. He reminds me of Bobby Hurley defensively, too. Able to play, take away the dribble path for Roy's game plan. Don't let the opponent break you down in the middle.
John Redden goes to the line. Local kid out of Marquette High School here in St. Louis County. I think that Larry Hughes keeping him home last year woke up some folks in this area to Charlie's ability to keep a guy here, even though he only stayed 1.
That surprised a lot of people in town, didn't it? They expect him to stay a little longer?
I think they were hoping for 2. He's got a little brother. The family's had a lot of health problems. You can't blame a kid for taking the money. And Billy, I always say, until you've walked in his shoes, you don't know what it's like to have to make that decision. Well, but I really feel
economics and academics are the reason kids leave early. And you're right.
Yeah.
It's tough to make a decision. Nice penetration, but nothing at the end.
Gregory too hard on the scoop, and finally Luchtefeld gets one away from Bradford on what would have been a held ball. But I really think the colleges and the pros have to find a way to have kids stay maybe at least 2 years.
There's got to be something worked out. I agree. Just from an emotional standpoint, a growth standpoint. A lot of poise. He was thinking of one that deep, huh?
That was from way down the driveway, Bill.
It was I-70.
Redden, 10 on the shot clock.
Pretty.
Redden off balance. Managed to get it to Tatum. Chenoweth. Kansas thought there was a travel, and they might be right before the foul was committed.
Yeah, they did get the call. But the problem was on the penetration. Redden got kneed, almost had to walk. That's what Charlie's upset at. But you can see Tatum's lack of experience showing itself a little bit. Hasn't had many minutes, haven't had a chance to tutor him.
Well, Spunauer made a good point before this game. He said, hey, we're glad to have these 2 guys, but when they're out there, the structure breaks down a little bit because there's no way they can know the system that well. Ryan the miss, TJ Pugh, backdoor. Did Bradford pull off?
Yep,
yes, he did.
A little Tavern League discard.
That's his 4th. And he's been the one Jayhawk tonight, winning 50-50 balls. If he's not available down the stretch, Kansas could be in big-time trouble here.
And how about that now? Robertson gets to the rim, doesn't convert. They got a great weak side position. Don't make the layup, end up with it over the top.
Justin Tatum to the line. Charlie Spunauer says, quote, we needed one like him on this team. A guy who's athletic, can score around the goal. He did not practice with a team in organized practice for a year and a half. A non-qualifier, and here he is in his 2nd game. He's got back-to-back 7-point games now.
What you're suggesting is Charlie should leave him alone. Let him find his way. He's doing okay.
Yeah, Charlie's
overcoach him, Charlie.
Charlie's the kind of guy who will say, he hasn't been around long enough for me to mess him up yet.
A great sense of humor. We've heard him at roast. A delightful human being.
In fact, Spunauer, he must have thought we were doing a baseball game tonight. He said, do you have a regional telecast in case we get in trouble? A backup game we can go to.
The coaches know our business better than we do. Good use to the right, huh?
The right-hander won't go for Gregory. He was over the top, got a touch. They're going to get Luchtefeld for that reach.
Set his guy up left. A nice little push with some strength, getting himself in position to do some damage. The crowd responding right there. A little shoulder to the left. Look at the strength to get by, everything but here. And that's what they were looking for. Luchtefeld, that's almost like football. You stand around, you're the one that gets hurt.
Nick Bradford with a one-on-one opportunity. Working on a 13-point night. This to get it back to 10.
And if he makes it, they can do a little wrinkle defensively.
Eric Chenoweth, a lot of bench time tonight because of early foul troubles. Has only scored 4 points. Kenny Gregory, not Bradford, excuse me. This would be 8 if he makes it. Jayhawks back within 9. They will drop back and not do much
2-3
full court here.
Yeah, they so 1-3-1. Excuse me.
Ferguson. And Troy Robertson, the long rebound.
What they'd like to force you to do is go guard to guard. They got to get somebody on the baseline.
You know, and St. Louis would like to have Virgil Cobbin in the game.
Woo, they did. They got luck.
How about a little bit of luck? They have hit big shots tonight whenever the Jayhawks have threatened. Now they've got the turnover. Jamal Walker. You don't want to gun one up too early here and make a mistake.
And you can see Carey with the inexperience. All he do is lob the ball to the corner of the glass, and Pugh had an easy one.
St. Louis by 12 with 7:20 remaining.
And they're using a little low bumps there as they curl. Occasionally it's a single double. Now they got a choice of sides for the pick.
Shot clock at 10. Tatum comes out. There's Robertson. 5 seconds. Troy for Ferguson. Off to the right. Tatum's got it.
Big rebound. Hey, the long one's on threes.
That's going to make this a possession of more than a minute.
The back cut. Oh, is that pretty?
Unable to knock it down is Luchtefeld, but he draws the foul.
Well, they've been setting that up all game. Empty to back. Troy Robertson on the money. Little step and go. Oh, is that pretty basketball? KU trying to extend the D. You get burnt on occasion when you're over the top.
TJ Pugh, his 4th. Ryan Luchtefeld, 58%, goes to the line. Spins and right in.
Great looking stroke from deep.
Nick Bradford back for Kansas. Carey takes a seat. You figure we'll see Chenoweth pretty soon. Rebound for Bradford. And with 6:50 to go, St. Louis by 13. A blocking foul at midcourt on Troy Robertson, his 3rd.
And I was just thinking here, if you're St. Louis, force KU to use some clock. And I know what Troy was trying to do. Come up with a little turnover. That's one of those, make them work a little bit more. Let them reverse the basketball. See if we can create some havoc of our own.
Kenny Gregory back to the line for another 1-and-1. Started the season just unable to hit a free throw. Came into this game 19 for 49 and misses by a wide margin. Kansas keeps it. The under 8-minute timeout. 6 minutes and 47 seconds remaining. A Kiel Center record crowd. And the unselfish Billikens lead it by 13 in the final 7. All right, thank you, Dave Feldman. We'll keep our eyes on that. Matt Doherty and company keeping their eyes on this one. The Jayhawks have a problem here. Final 7 minutes, down by 13. St. Louis has a measure of momentum right now. They keep hitting big shots whenever Kansas puts them to the test.
And Bobby, you get the feeling everybody's going to take a run at Kansas. They've got to be ready. Emotionally, St. Louis very spirited after it. See if they can get something inside, either with the dribble, Pugh trying to post up.
Away from the ball.
Oh, I don't think they have an offensive foul on Robertson.
Ryan Robertson.
Yeah.
That will be his 4th, all in the second half. Jayhawks shot 25% in the first half, doubling that and a little bit more. But look at the low numbers of Eric Chenoweth. St. Louis, a 16-point lead just after the half. Justin Love has been the man. And we mentioned the crowd, 22,527. Not even Missouri, Illinois has ever drawn a crowd this big. It's a new Kiel Center record for basketball.
They have an impact, too. St. Louis has reacted in a good fashion. I think this trip here, Boshi running the offense has to get people involved a little bit. Be smart, be intelligent, pry with the dribble. They don't have a sure out down on the block. So it might be Gregory at some point as he penetrates, or Robertson with a spot-up jumper.
St. Louis by 15. Here's Boshi, sees an opening, and he banks it high off the glass, missing everything.
One more bounce, he may have been able to do something, or a fade dribble.
St. Louis needs to be solid here. Walker on top from Robertson. They've got the ball in the guy's hands that they'd want it.
They exchange out high here.
Shot clock down to 11. Robertson.
Tatum on the glass in good position if they shoot.
Walker got Boshi faked. He drills it. Oh. It's a deuce.
Charlie looking for 3.
That ball hit the rim about 4 times before rattling in. Boshi short. We've got a whistle at the other end. It looks like Luchtefeld, if his reaction with Don Rutledge is any indication.
And he's in a little bit of pain from that back earlier.
That's his 4th.
Now you look back at certain shots when you make them that give you a win. Off of penetration, Robertson real solid. You can see the feet, I thought, were on the line there. Did they give him 2?
Yep.
Yeah, he deserved the deuce. And then the other end, Boshi trying to do it on his own.
Luchtefeld. Some back spasms early tonight, leaving with 12 points. He's given a great effort. Matt Boniak replaces him. TJ Pugh drills the free throw. At the scores table, opposite side, the big fellow waiting to come back in for the shooter.
May see a little more gambling at the half-court spot, Bob. St. Louis has made some timely shots.
Have they ever?
And they're virtually nothing from the block area.
Boniak, the rebound. This will keep Chenoweth out of the game for a few more seconds now.
Good point.
Jamal Walker runs the Billiken offense. Ferguson switches with Robertson.
And Bob, you may get a back cut because of the overextension defensively.
Shot clock to 15 as the Bills spread the floor.
They got guys out of position. They're not sure who should be where.
Walker penetrating. Ball deflected on the way up by TJ Pugh. Look at Boniak. Robertson. Oh, that would have been a killer. Boniak. Oh, it's going back to the Jayhawks.
He did everything right, but couldn't square it. Troy Robertson with a good look there. A little upset with himself, but you can just see St. Louis spirited, getting after it. Loose balls coming up with more of them than KU.
If he would have made that shot, they would have led by 19 with just over 5 minutes to go. Here come the Jayhawks.
Chenoweth time, wouldn't you say?
Got to get him involved.
Yeah, a little. He's ducking in. They got him if they want to give it to him.
Against Boniak, it's a mismatch. There it is. The turnaround sweep, and he's got a half dozen tonight.
All right, big guy. Boshi responds. Getting it into him.
4:45 remaining. Kansas has led in this game 8-7, and that's been about it. Ferguson.
The trap worked because they shot quickly.
Baseline. Bradford. No. Chenoweth. Blocked, but fouled.
Anything around the rim that's starting to body fatigue could be a problem, Bob. The ability to get in close to the rim. And this is just gorgeous. Duck in. You can see loves to turn away and make that jump shot coming to the middle of the floor. I mean, he's got a nice touch. He struggled all night. Some of the ones that he normally would make weren't going down for him.
What a shot blocker he is. Along with the scoring, his 62 blocks last year, a KU freshman record. And Billy, you know from coaching, everybody sees a guy who's 7 foot. They think he's just going to start doing it. He can dominate anytime he wants. It doesn't always work out that way.
Well, he does change some hurries. People get near him, sort of shy away a little bit. But I think he can be a major influence in the end of this year and really find himself next year.
Boniak the miss, rebound, 4:20 remaining. St. Louis by 13.
He's got a great feel for the game. Here he's looking to double. They got to slip the post guy, turn and look. He got a fast break.
Robertson 3-on-2. Luchtefeld.
Great look. Great deployment.
I'm not so sure Ryan didn't lose control of that ball on the way up.
It was an armpit basket. You're right.
Smells pretty good to Charlie, though.
Whatever deodorant you want when it goes in.
Gregory from downtown. And that's 11 for Kenny Gregory.
12. And they're scoring quickly. That's a dilemma for St. Louis.
3:50 to go.
Here's the trap again.
Luchtefeld. Ooh, they are lucky not to lose that one.
Great read by Boshi.
Robertson. Oh, Boniak thought he was going to shoot the 3. Charlie says if you got an open look, go ahead and take it. A very intense ball game now in St. Louis. Jamal Walker running the point for St. Louis U on the verge of an upset.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of NCAA basketball is brought to you by NASCAR 99 from EA Sports and by the Office of National Drug Control Policy, a partnership for a drug-free America.
In the 90s, St. Louis has had 5 wins over ranked teams, all in conference play. Against the likes of Louisville back on February 6th of '97. They got Cincinnati a couple of times, Louisville, Marquette, UAB before that. But Billy, in a non-conference game, you've got to go back to December 22nd of 1964, when the city was still celebrating a World Series championship down at the ballpark. 80-75 over Kentucky. They had beaten the Wildcats the previous March here as well.
Well, they don't have Gibson and McCarver, but they've got great defense here.
Here's Robertson. Troy short.
Good tip out by Chenoweth.
Yep. Here's Bradford. Boniek stopped it.
We want to get back now. Don't get a silly one, Eric.
A big-time stop by Matt Boniek, the St. Louis sophomore. And with this possession, they could take it under 3 minutes. And Justin Love's back in there.
Yeah, with those foul problems. But right here, the nice call of the timeout to everybody. They just have to go over the top and find someone. They can do some damage. Either get the layup or at least diffuse the pressure.
St. Louis timeout. 3:07 remaining. Billikens by 12. Boniek comes up big. Jayhawks have a couple of timeouts left. St. Louis 1. Billikens are out of 20s. Jayhawks have a whole bunch of theirs left, so they can mount the comeback if they have to by stopping the clock. But they are running out of time. 3:07 and a 12-point game.
And Bob, I think Kansas has the advantage now. They know they've been slipping. They being St. Louis, a post man in the middle of the floor. They're going to have to find an outlet on the sideline at some point.
Troy Robertson to throw it in.
Got to get it in.
Luchtefeld way into the backcourt. Ooh, Ferguson loses it. Bradford scores.
What a place to turn it over. Very few seconds off the clock, and you give a little one.
Ferguson changes speed. What a look. Boniek, that's goaltending.
What a catch. Oh,
that
my
was
goodness.
An absolute bullet from Dave Ferguson.
Well, we mentioned Bob Gibson.
Wow.
Carver had a few of these. Your hands hurt. Good gather. And I'll tell you what, that may have been a clean block, too.
Gregory can't hit the three. Boniek up
Once again. No hurry, but they got to get free.
St. Louis knew they had to rebound to have a chance in this game.
12 use clock. See if you can get yourself an easy one.
Double team, Robertson for Boniek. Luchtefeld for Walker. Now the double again. Love, baseline.
Pretty
the
long.
scoop. Boniek.
What patience.
And Kansas is in trouble with 2 minutes to go. Down by 14 and a travel.
A jump stop. KU breaking down on both ends of the floor. What a wonderful display of footwork. Boniek's come up very big late.
34 years since St. Louis has won a non-conference game here against a ranked team.
Nice step through. Boy, fundamentally, they've been so sound.
Love for Boniek as the ball was tipped. Jayhawks come up with it. Kenny Gregory. Robertson ahead to the glass.
Smart not fouling, too. Timeout. They take the full.
It comes with 1:40 remaining. Do the Jayhawks have enough to make the comeback? Well, somebody wants little brother to get the job done tonight. And he has helped his ball club in spots. Troy, first half 6 points. He's got 8 in the ball game. Johnny and Angie watching. It's a no-lose, but also sort of a no-win situation for the parents tonight.
There'll be a sympathetic ear, I'm sure, for either son. What an exciting time in their lives, though. See both guys playing major college basketball. And KU tries to tighten it up here. They got to close it.
Walker for Love, backcourt.
Look over the top.
They've got 5 seconds to get it over, and they do. 1:30 remaining and a foul.
I think Boshi may get this one. Trying to stop the clock.
Jeff Boshi with his 4th. TJ Pugh for defense. Right after we finish this one up at the Kiel Center, Sports Center coming up next on ESPN. Earlier tonight, number 20 Arkansas over Wake 75-59, but a ranked team on the verge of falling here in St. Louis.
Love will come in at 57%, able to extend the lead. Scoring quickly is the dilemma for Roy right now. A lot of quick hitters, chase it, tip, even if you do foul, stops the clock.
Love settles for 19. Ryan Robertson transitions for Kansas. They need a quick hit. Ball was deflected. Bradford, yes, and a foul.
Why foul? Just let him go. Anya trying to do it all, ends up reaching in. Once again, the experience of Ryan Robertson able to get into the deep part of the floor, comes up a little bit short, but good aggressive pursuit as Nick enables him to get to the foul line.
Kansas checks in John Kreider, middle right of your screen, number 12. Coming out of high school in Horton, Kansas, is a great shooter, but he hasn't played much. 0 for 1 from three-point range. They got him in there for something.
Oh, what a rebound by Love.
Oh, and a Kansas reach in. That will be 5 for Nick Bradford.
Well, I think Charlie's got himself a player in Justin Love. Sometimes it's a jump shot. Some it's handling the pressure. Sometimes it's a big rebound that shows you what's underneath that shirt. He's got a ticker, Bob.
Well, a guy sits out for 5 or 6 weeks, Billy. You know he's going to come back hungry. The timing is great for St. Louis right before the conference season, although they did get a Conference USA win over North Carolina Charlotte here on Sunday.
I think they're finally deciding whether it's Ryan Robertson with the foul or...
It looked like Bradford they were pointing at. He's trying to get London to take the fall for him, but I think they got Nick for 5th. Oh, they're going to give it to London.
They took the bite, huh?
Ah.
Well, that enables Roy to keep an active body on the floor.
Justin Love. St. Louis can put it away at the free throw line down the stretch here. They get the good start on that, and that's 20. TJ Pugh is back. Justin Tatum is back for St. Louis. A junior out of San Francisco. Sacred Heart High School by way of Kenyatta College, where Ashante Johnson was a teammate. And what a night for Justin Love. 21, a minute 15 to go, 13-point game.
Nice down screen for the 3.
Robertson brings it.
Is that quick enough?
Kansas calls the timeout. 13 for Ryan.
They're going for the 20. Roy was going to let that one slide, too. The players responded as they're taught. He felt they were in good shape to get their press going. Too quick for St. Louis, and nobody ready. You're either going to slide through this and anticipate, or you're going to switch it. You can see Troy gets a little bit late. He's tardy on his brother, and he knows better than that.
Sports Center coming up next on ESPN after we wrap up our doubleheader. Hey, St. Louis University has a doubleheader here Monday. Kansas State comes in here. Another version of the local Holiday Fest, NBA, NHL, and Bob Knight. Part 4 coming up on Sports Center tonight as Carl Ravitch and Linda Cohen continue that. Southeast Missouri plays SIU Carbondale in the first game of that doubleheader. They're going to go over to the TWA Dome and play on Monday night here. And a backcourt foul by the rather desperate Jayhawks now.
Tom Asbury's done pretty well since we last saw him in Maui.
Yeah. Solid club.
A lot of Kansas guys on that in that program. And Boshi is the one that gave it up.
He fouls out with 1:07 remaining. One of the big controversies here in St. Louis right now is trying to get St. Louis U and Missouri together. Missouri says if you want to play, you've got to come to Columbia first. And some of the folks in this town would love to see them play over at the TWA Dome and put 30 or 35,000 in there. They would definitely do that.
That doesn't sound like Norm, though.
Yes, it does.
Well, just to be honoring.
St. Louis U played Illinois in the TWA Dome on November 20th and drew 32,429. A basketball record for either state.
And I'm looking over at Roy as Charlie, his guys reacted beautifully. Roy and his staff are going to have to get back and organize and get going for their league. Matt Daugherty, Neil Daugherty.
1 minute to go. Bradford missing the three. Two Billikens had touches.
I think the offense is part of the dilemma, don't you, for KU?
Yeah. Wow, Bradford a big miss. He's not really a three-point guy. And St. Louis U is going to get the upset tonight. Listen to this crowd of 22,000. A TJ Pugh foul. They know this thing is over, barring an utter disaster.
Watch those guys with the gray hair. He got his team, Charlie Spoonhour, defensively prepared, took away the early offense.
A standing ovation for the Billikens. The best night in basketball in a non-conference game they've had in 34 years and 1 day. It was December 22 of '64 when they knocked off Kentucky.
Well, a spoonball's more than a utensil. Solid preparation, great understanding of what they want to accomplish, and some timely deep shooting. Think of it, not a lot of post play for them.
No. And Virgil Cobbin, their three-point shooter.
Shut him out.
Well, he got a two.
No, but I meant they sort of shut out that three-point play. Yeah. I think Love is something that wasn't factored in by KU.
Troy Robertson, a nice hand as he sits. You know, they could use this free throw just so 4 threes couldn't beat them. I don't know if Kansas has time for that. 22 for Justin Love. 76-64.
Don't foul, you're saying, if you're St. Louis, and make them use some time.
Robertson short with the three. Jamal Walker. Luchtefeld. And the Billikens, you may not know any of these guys, you folks on either coast or around the country, but they're showing us tonight they put together a pretty good team with these two new players who've just come back. Justin Love from the back injury. Justin Tatum academically eligible. And maybe they'll make some noise in Conference USA. They were picked last in the American division by the coaches and 8th overall in the league. There might be some rethinking of that now.
And you mentioned earlier, Charlie Spoonhour said they may have been 8-2 if they had Justin Love. I'm not going to argue with him after watching tonight's performance. Emotional. Crowd got after it. You can see the little shot on Troy's nose, indicative of some tough practice preparing to play against his brother and Kansas University.
25.7 seconds remaining. Luchtefeld unable to hit either. Carry the rebound. Here comes Bradford. Leaning in. Luchtefeld got a piece. Loose ball. Carry. 12 seconds left. Kreider backdoor misses the layup. And the Billikens with Love. Who else should have?
What a way to say goodnight. End it with a little love.
From the Gateway City with Love. St. Louis 78, Kansas 64. They're coming out on the floor.
And why not? Well, everybody knew the man could coach. He got his guys ready for a very talented Kansas University team who will get better as the year progresses, I assure you.
78-64. It's a pre-holiday celebration. For Bill Raftery, I'm Bob Carpenter. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. St. Louis wins big. Sports Center next. Good night. Happy holidays from St. Louis.